Good morning and welcome back to Buffalo Means Business. My name is Buddy Shula, and we are in our second segment this morning, and very, very honored to have the sixth president. I did my research. The sixth president at Daemen College, Gary Olson. Good morning, Gary.
Morning, Buddy.
How are you? It's an honor to have the president of Daemen College here this morning.
Well, it's an honor to be on your show. This is wonderful.
I appreciate it. First, we got a lot of good stuff, so I'm going to get right to it here. First of all, tell me about Daemen.
Well, Daemen is a very good, high-quality, small college, about 3,000 students, about 2,000 of which are undergraduate, about 1,000 graduate. Very much devoted to hands-on with students. So, you really get attention all the way through at Daemen, and that really was what attracted me to it. A lot of places, they'll really recruit you. But once you get there, then you're on your own. But at Daemen, they take care of you all the way through. So I really like that about the college. So
tell me, I got to ask the obvious question. What is it like to be the president of a college?
Well, it's hectic. It's hectic, but because you're, dealing with all kinds of different things that often don't connect with one another on a daily basis. But it's really good at Daemen because it's got to be the friendliest college you'll ever find in the country.
It's a great area right on Main Street, too. It's
right.
It's just a real nice facility. I was reading on your website that your inauguration is going to be on September 20th.
That's right. Yeah.
It looks like a pretty big day they have planned.
They do. They'll have a gala in the evening. There'll be the inauguration in the afternoon and some reception in between.
So, how did you get into higher learning? Tell me just briefly about yourself and how did you get into this?
Well, I've been doing this for 35 years, and I've been in various positions throughout the nation. So, for example, for 20 years, I was at the University of South Florida, which is a huge institution. In fact, I think it's about twice the size of UB. We have about 50,000 students. But I've served as Dean of Arts and Sciences at Illinois State, and at Idaho State I was Vice President and Provost, so moved around a bit. But my discipline in higher education is English. So I began as an English professor.
So did you have to apply for this position? How do you...
For this position at Daemen, I was nominated. It was an open position. Okay. All these positions get advertised nationally, and somebody nominated me for the position, and then they pursued it. And there's a long national search, and it resulted in my coming here.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Now, you're originally from?
Originally from Connecticut. So in a lot of ways, I almost feel like I'm home here in Buffalo. It's not really New England, but it really feels very much like where I grew up.
I was going to ask, so far, what are your impressions of Western New York and the campus at Daemen? What are your thoughts so far on what you're seeing?
Well, I really love it. As I say, I feel like I'm home. It really has that familiar feel to me.
All comes.
Well, yeah, and I am an Easterner, and I know people say this straddles the East and the Midwest, but really feels like home. And it's certainly different from the places I ended up being before this, Idaho and Florida, for example.
And you also you're part of the Higher Education Chronicle, and you write a column for them. That's like the platinum standard, isn't it?
Yeah, Chronicle of Higher Education is the number one weekly newspaper for people in higher education. It is the place to go. There are other competitors, but this is the original and the best. I've been doing a monthly column now for, I think, 6.5 years.
Wow. Are you going to continue that?
I have been, yeah, I have been.
But you also have something else on the horizon as well?
That's right. I'm going to begin in a few weeks doing a column also for Huffington Post on higher education issues.
Which is probably one of the biggest online news sources, things of that nature, correct?
Yeah, it is. It really has a much larger readership than Chronicle, simply because it's not just about higher education.
So tell me about the new animation venture at Daemen.
Well, yeah. Actually, people get things mixed up. There's the animation and visual effects. You probably saw the all the news around the Cuomo administration giving a big grant to Daemen, and that came about because of our Center for Excellence in Animation, which is in the Tri-Main, which is not right on our campus. It's down a few miles. We really have a wonderful situation where we have a BFA really in animation, and we're partnered with an actual company that does this, and so they have actual contracts, MTV, Disney, you name it. And so our students, while they're learning how to do this, can actually be working on major films and so on. And as far as we know, there's not a partnership like this around. First of all, this animation, while other places do it, sometimes it's just more of an abstract kind of theoretical kind of thing. But to be partnered right up with people that actually have real contracts and are doing real work, just think about it. You can come out of school and you can say, well, I worked on that Disney film and that MTV piece and so on. Now, what people get confused is when the Cuomo administration recently announced this big grant. It was a $4.5 million grant. It's from the Buffalo Billion. That is for a new add-on venture. There's a group of people, including the CEO of the group that we're partnered with, are creating a whole new company called Empire Visual Effects. And they will be partnered with us. And what will happen is you can get a certificate in visual effects from Daemen and be working with this new company on, and these are people already doing post-production of films for many, many years. This is just another side company. And again, be possibly employed with them. Now, the news media, made a big deal about the 150 new jobs over 4 or 5 years. But see, what they missed is this is only a tip of the iceberg. What Governor Cuomo really has in mind is something much larger and much grander, which is that this is the beginning of bringing a whole new industry here to Buffalo, which is the post-production part of filmmaking. In the same way that Toronto became a center, about a decade and a half, 2 decades ago, whenever that happened, for filmmaking, he sees Buffalo as possibly being a center for post-production. And so, in other words, if things work out as we hope, it won't be just this one company. Lots of other companies will be moving into the area because they all collaborate with one another anyway. The reason that happens is sometimes it's very labor intensive to do all the things that need to be done in a particular film, so little segments get jobbed out. So there's plenty of work. So our part will be to train a whole new generation of workers for this new industry.
Wow.
And we're partnered in turn with a bunch of community colleges. So what's going to happen is a lot of people will get their AA in the community college and immediately come to our program and get this very hands-on training. And then when they're done, potentially be given full-time jobs by this company and the other ones that will be coming to town.
What a great visionary effort. I mean,
really is. It's a wonderful vision.
One other thing I wanted to ask you about personally is some of your priorities now that you're president of Daemen. What are your priorities at the college?
Well, one of the things I want to do is raise the visibility of the college. A lot of people that know Daemen call it, an undiscovered gem. And it's a good metaphor. It really is, because you have a very high-quality college, a name that's not really recognizable, though. And it's a very special place. As I said, you don't get this kind of hands-on care anywhere that I've ever seen. And I've been doing this a long time. And so I think we've been too long under the radar screen. So my job really is to get that word out. The quality is there. We deserve it. And in fact, we already really, in various areas, have a national reputation. So I'll give you an example. We have one of the best physical therapy programs in the nation. The pass rate, the first attempt pass rate of our graduates was way above the national level. It's I think 98, 99%, which is phenomenal. These are tough exams. And so people really come to Daemen specifically for that program, those who know, rather than go to some schools that might have a more recognizable name, but not as good a physical therapy program. Same thing is true about our physician's assistant. I just found out just a few days ago that for 22 open slots in our physician's assistant's program, over 900 applications. And that's amazing. Think about it, over 900.
You can only take 22 of those.
Over 22, So what that tells you is that that tells you something about the quality of that program. So we need to get the word out about this kind of thing so that people understand, wow, this is not just another college. There's something special about this one. And the reason I say that is a lot of colleges are struggling right now with enrollment. The reason that's happening is this. The baby boom generation of kids has just begun tapering off. So each year as we go forward, the number of college-aged students is getting smaller and smaller. So there's pressure on all colleges across the nation to try to even stay steady in their enrollment because there just aren't the students. So a lot of colleges are struggling. For example, this year we did not struggle because we are the college of choice for so many people. The problem is not a lot of other people know that. And so my job is to do that. And one of the other things as far as priority is I really want to strengthen the ties between Daemen and the community itself. So toward that end, I just created a community advisory board of people that are not alums or anything, but that are real leaders in the community. So Howard Zemsky and Donald Trump and Mayor Brown and Congressman Higgins and Senator Ransenhofer and Assemblyman Walter, a whole bunch of community leaders, both in the business and in the political world. And the only agenda is really to talk about how can Daemen better serve the community, and how can the community, of course, better serve Daemen. And there's no reason for us to be like some colleges are, an ivory tower. We're trying to be good neighbors and so on. I don't think people realize the economic impact of Daemen College on the regional economy is just shy of $114 million a year. Now, for a small college, 3,000 students, $114 million impact, that's pretty big. But people don't know that. Another thing, for example, for the community, we have a very forward-looking general education program. General education is the part of college that everybody has to take, not the particular part that's their discipline, that they're going into.
Right, just the general basics.
And so we have a very forward-looking one. And one of the things about that is that everybody has to do community service that's linked somehow to, the thing they're studying. So each year, our students, because of that curriculum, contribute 30,000 hours of community service to the region. They're doing such things as helping the poor fill out tax forms and free health care to underprivileged people,
sure.
Literacy to adults who have trouble reading and writing, for example, things like that.
That's all very good stuff. And you seem like you're so excited about it too.
Well, I am, and it's an exciting place to be right now.
Daemen, yeah, and Daemen has such a long history, and I'm couldn't be happier for you. And it really seems like you're gonna help this college. It seems like you're doing okay now, but you want it to get better, right?
Oh yeah. We're on the move.
I know you're already making some additional changes at the campus involving the actual look of it, and we're going to be joined here with Paul Maurer from Retree. What are you doing in regards to the outside?
Well, we have a nice looking campus, and there's certainly nothing wrong with it. But it struck me that we can even make it better, make it more like a kind of park. And it's funny, when I first got on campus, there was some discussion about paving some of the green spaces and putting parking spaces. Yeah. Well, I had a different idea, so we created what we call the Daemen 100 Tree Challenge, and basically it's an adopt a tree program, and we tried to get everybody involved, not only faculty and staff, but even people in the community, and so people can pay a modest amount, and they can get their name on a tree or a stone bench, if you will. And we've raised, I think now, $37,000 for this part of a little bit larger beautification process. And on October 26th, we're going to have a big festive day, and we're going to put 110 trees on, according to a very carefully laid out plan that a landscaping architect came up with. So we know exactly what trees will go in what place and so on. And this is really going to transform the campus, but it's also going to help the town of Amherst, which we're in, because it'll beautify the area even more than it already is.
Well, do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, well, Gary's people came to us about 2 months ago with Reed Tree and talked about it, and I think we set up a meeting right away as soon as we knew about it, because we thought, that's an area where we could really make an impact, because they have a lot of green space in the front. But you see the building and a lot of green space. You don't see a lot of trees in front of the campus. And with all that traffic going by, you really kind of could use a good buffer between the traffic going by, the fumes, and all those other things that are going on with that. And trees are great for that. So you can sequester the carbon that's coming out of the vehicles, and you can make the campus look better. It's better habitat for birds and little animals, things like that. So Gary talked to us about it, and he was already underway with another part of the project. He put a special path in the front there too, because in order to get to that main building, you got to really go across the grass. So he's already laid that out. He's got that in, and we're going to have, as Gary mentioned, on October 26th, we're going to have quite a group of our volunteers come out and actually plant the trees that they've set aside to make the campus look more beautiful. So it should be a lot of fun.
Again, we're here with Gary Olson, president of Daemen College, and I'm just looking at the website here at Daemen EDU. We're in our final minute with you, Gary, and is there anything else you would like to just mention before we end today?
Well, no, I just would like to say that I hope people will pay a little more attention to Daemen, especially those that are thinking about college, because it might not have been on your radar screen, but it really ought to. It's a great place, a friendly college, and again, one that you'll be taken care of. You won't be just dropped in there and left on your own.
And actually, if I can jump in here, my wife and I took a little tour of the campus recently because there were so many new buildings that we saw going in there. There's a spectacular building right in front that we're talking about that just went up, I think, only maybe 2 years ago or so. Right. You got to go in that. Just pay a visit. They've got a coffee shop in there. They've got huge ceilings, and it's real modern and really cool. It's a great study atmosphere. I can't remember the name of the building.
Yeah, that's our Research Information Commons, which is the new name for something that we used to call a library. Because libraries are increasingly not just a place full of books. But,
great place. I mean, it's a great space. Anybody that's from here should do themselves a favor and go in there and take a little look around.
Well, I've been told it's such a wonderful place to study and all that I won't name which college or university nearby, but a lot of students from there come and study in our place.
Makes sense. It's got a lot of little breakout rooms and cubby holes where you can, have a little powwow with friends and talk about books and about your studies too. Very, very cool. You got to take a look at it.
I want to thank you for taking your time to come out with us this morning.
Thank you, buddy.
I know you're probably got a lot going on with the semester coming up and everything, but we very much appreciate it. Good luck to you, and good luck to Daemen College.
Thank you, and good luck to you as well.
Gary Olson, president of Daemen, the 6th president, and it was an honor to have him. We'll be right back with our third segment of Buffalo Means Business on 1520 KB Radio.